Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on X Twitter at Movies TV Mad and on Instagram and on Threads at Movies TV Mad X. Welcome to the latest edition of the Movies TV Mad Daily. I am a huge Doctor Who fan, as most of you who have been watching my videos, following me on the multitude of social media platforms that I've got accounts on, will know. If you're new, you should know I adore Doctor Who. I have adored Doctor Who ever since I saw Tom Baker fall from a great height and become Peter Davison. I gave Colin Baker a break. I wasn't interested in him or Sylvester McCoy. And Doctor Who the movie I absolutely adored. And if you don't know how Doctor Who the movie actually happened, you should definitely check out The 7-Year Hitch, which is a DVD extra documentary on the Doctor Who the movie DVD or Blu-ray. It's about how Philip Segal, a guy who started off as a kid in England and ended up in America working for Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment, pushed for a kind of a partnership between the BBC and the Americans to create a Doctor Who series that ended up becoming Doctor Who the movie. It's a very, very inspirational story, and Philip Segal is a Doctor Who fan. Now, I don't know if he's still with us, still alive, but from the outside looking in, seems like a great guy and would love to meet him. And he's kind of inspired today's video, because I believe that at the end of rtd2, Season 2, Doctor Who will be cancelled. I believe that Disney will not pick up an option for a third season. Now, if you believe what RTD has been telling us, he's got plans for a season 3 and 4, and I believe that will be it for him, and he brings someone else on. Probably, if we're not rewriting history and we're repeating history, maybe Moffat comes back again. I don't know. But listen, I don't believe that after season 2 we're getting any more. It's going to be rested because the ratings are just going to get worse. And when it's rested, when it's cancelled again, we will get the blame. They're going to blame you and me, like they blamed you and me for the cancellation of Torchwood after Miracle Day, which wasn't the worst thing in the world. Number one, RTD wasn't working on that full time. Not that he really worked on Torchwood full time anyway. He had Chibnall working and running that for him. And to be fair to Chibnall, he did a really good job. Why is Doctor Who, in my opinion, going to be cancelled? They broke Doctor Who. Chris Chibnall's The Timeless Children drove the fans away. And they had an opportunity when RTD came back to bring the fans back. But they didn't do that. I think we were all kind of excited when we saw David Tennant materialise after Jodie Whittaker regenerated. Now, I thought there was an opportunity here to delve into the multiverse and bring a Doctor from another reality. And I thought that's what 14 and Ncuti would actually be. And basically, if you pull a Doctor out from another reality, you can say that Doctor, it actually originates from Gallifrey. There is no timeless children, without totally red-pilling what Chibnall did. But RTD came in full of, vinegar, anger, because of how his friend was perceivably treated. But you're as a showrunner of Doctor Who, you're working behind the shop, behind the till. And you're supposed to greet the customers and make them feel welcome. The customers haven't felt welcome at Doctor Who for a very long time. So the Timeless Children has broken Doctor Who. The fans are not going to come back unless that's red-pilled. And I've said before, imagine red-pilling Donna's fantastic tragic ending, but not red-pilling the Timeless Children, a thing that has destroyed Doctor Who. Let's be absolutely clear. How RTD brought back Doctor Who in 2005 was wonderful, groundbreaking. He did the impossible. It was great. Again, I'll repeat myself what I've said before. There's people trying to rewrite history because they're unhappy with a lot of stuff that RTD has said about the fans. That his episodes weren't great, blah, 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 blah. Bollocks. Bollocks. RTD is a genius and did a great job bringing back Doctor Who. Just because he's doing stuff now we don't like, it doesn't mean we have the right to go back and rewrite what actually happened. That's bollocks, that's nonsense, I don't want to hear that. That's not what, I'm not here today to crucify RTD's past. Now, RTD is a genius. I admire him as a creative, I always have looked up to him, but there's certainly certain problematic elements in the man's character, especially if you listen to Christopher Eccleston. But none of that really matters. That's not my problem as a consumer. He's a genius, he brought it back, he handed the keys over to Moffat, and he did a fantastic job creatively. What I like about what Moffat did, he said, bollocks to the ratings, bollocks to everything, I'm just going to write the Doctor Who I want to write. He basically did what any tenacious fan would do, and the BBC had enough respect for him, and RTD has such power that he said, let him do what the F he wants. And he did. So I celebrate RTD1 and the Moffat era, warts and all. That's not what I'm here to do today. I am warning you that Doctor Who will be cancelled. There's no question about that. And as fans, we have the power to decide the next evolution in Doctor Who's future. We cannot continue with the Timeless Children being part of the canon. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. I speak to a lot of Doctor Who fans on a regular occasion, because I am a Doctor Who fan, right? I've spoken to people who are really angry about the Timeless Children. I've spoken to people who kind of shrug their shoulders and kind of, don't love it, but are not angry and are happy to support the shows still. But I haven't met one person to tell me, Mick, I love it, it's brilliant. Nobody actually likes the Timeless Children. No one thinks it's a good idea. I spoke about the Timeless Children the other day. I think the score is absolutely fantastic, especially the stuff for the Master. I thought Dewan's performance as the Master and the writing for the Master is outstanding. But something has utterly confused me about Dewan's Master. The fact that we got 2 episodes where he leads Doctor Who instead of 11, instead of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. The Timeless Children basically stars Sacha Dhawan's Master. Jodie's there, but she's just reacting. She only gets like a starring lead near the end, right? When she comes out the Matrix and she takes control. And then there's the Power of the Doctor again. It's Sacha Dhawan's Master's episode. 2 episodes where the Master is leading the episode. It's kind of like he's lost faith in that Doctor. And let's be clear, Jodie Whittaker has proven in her career time and again that she is a capable actor. She could have been a great Doctor if she was given the great material the white dude's got. Let's be clear about that. Jodie Whittaker and Ncuti Gatwa did not get the same quality of material that the white dude's got. Which means, instead of the fans being bigoted and racist, we have to, as I've said before, and I know I'm retreading old ground, we have to question RTD and Christopher Chibnall. Are you passionate about diversity? Why did your diverse actors not get the same quality of scripts as the white dudes did? Forget the classic series. I'm talking about New Who, Eccleston, Tennant, Capaldi, Smith got this wonderful material. They all did. No question, whatever you think of those eras. And the material that these diverse doctors got has been pants. Jodie's material, the problem with Jodie's era is the pacing is too slow. And her Doctor is too perfect. Her Doctor doesn't have any flaws. I mean, you can say there's problems, especially when, Graham's talking about his cancer maybe coming back, right? And I get that was terrible. They tried to force this thing that she's awkward. They never gave her a great Doctor characterization. For me, the Doctor must be the smartest person in the room and must have the biggest personality in the room. The Doctor is an alpha. I've always believed the Doctor's an alpha. I've always seen all the iterations, apart from the 2 diverse Doctors, as alphas. But there's these rules in kind of woke entertainment where if you're casting a diverse lead, they've got to act in certain ways and you can't make them do certain things and you can't make them be complex, and at times be negative characters. It's okay to do it with the white dudes, but not the women and not the black guy. And this is why, let's be clear, Jodie and Ncuti have been utterly betrayed. Now, I don't know what Ncuti and Jodie think in the cold light of day when they sit in a corner. Are they Doctor Who fans? I don't think Jodie was a big Doctor Who fan. I think Ncuti, I don't know, he went back and watched some episodes. I don't know. They don't have to be Doctor Who fans. These are trained actors, right? Jodie has strengths as an actor. The writing for her Doctor wasn't written to her strengths. And Ncuti Gatwa, I tell you what's great about Ncuti Gatwa. When Ncuti Gatwa is basically playing himself, like in Sex Education, the results are brilliant. When they try and get him to really act big, look, RTD has tried to get him to have big speeches and to cry a lot, and the guy can fake cry, no question, we've seen it. But they didn't write, RTD has not written to shoot his strengths. He basically should have been the guy from Sex Education. That would have been interesting. Obviously without the Sex Education stuff, but you know what I mean. They didn't play to his strengths, it's not working. And Millie Gibson's Ruby Sunday has been a bag of fresh air. It's utterly disappointing from a writer that gives characters so much strength and energy and passion and personality. We've seen it in the Eccleston, Tennant era. And then like Stephen Moffat did the same with his Doctors. They were great times. And as I said to you before, when I listen to Murray Gold's music, and it reminds me of the great stuff we had, it boggles my mind where we are now. RTD came back with absolutely no idea, to con the audience as if he was going to do something special when he didn't. And I kind of started to see through it as we started the celebrations. The cheap Doctor Who concert in an inside studio instead of an arena like the good old days. I started to think this is a bit cheap. He's tried to defend the way he wrote the free specials, or the not so specials as I call them. He was being sarcastic about bringing Bill Hartnell back from the dead. It's not about bringing back old Doctors, RTD. It's about celebrating Doctor Who. And the reason in your free specials, 60th anniversary specials, which are supposed to be celebrating 60 years of Doctor Who, the reason you didn't barely celebrate Doctor Who's past, right? I know you had the Time Maker and there was a few things there, but basically you ignored Doctor Who's past. Basically, it's because Disney find Doctor Who's past problematic. Doctor Who's past is a product of its time. It's okay to be a product of your time. My mum and dad were products of their time. They could be a little bit bigoted. Doesn't mean they weren't good people. It doesn't mean that they were bad people. They were products of their time. But the left, woke, the wokies, just don't get it. Just don't get it. They want to put everyone on trial for every piece of wrong think that they've got. And this is where we are now. They've ruined entertainment. Hollywood have ruined entertainment, TV and film. And like the BBC especially have destroyed some great things. And Doctor Who has been destroyed. Chris Chibnall decided to do The Timeless Children, a concept that was absolutely interesting and could have been done well, as I said the other day, but it wasn't done for that. It was to go back in the past and rewrite Doctor Who history in terms of diversity. And he went and plucked up a bunch of young actors, like black actors, Asian actors, to play the Doctor, quickly. But this is, first of all, you can't go back in time and falsify diversity. What's next? Next time, if there's a clip with Tegan with a low-cut top or something, right? What are they going to do? CGI the top to cover up her cleavage? How far are we going to go here? Do you know what I mean? I'm not even being flippant or perverted or disrespectful, right? But there was a lot of girls with their cleavage hanging out who were Doctor Who companions. So what are we going to do? Go back and cover up their cleavages. Do you understand? It was pathetic. And he rewrote Doctor Who history because of that. Not to create a new origin story. And let's be honest, he did the one thing every Doctor Who creative and every Doctor Who fan has already said. Don't cover Doctor Who's origins. Leave them a fucking alone. So, as a fan, what do I... Basically, I feel like I'm Philip Seagal now. I'm the one with other fans who need to lead the charge to create a new kind of future for Doctor Who. I believe Doctor Who, first of all, Doctor Who on television has become tired and old. I believe the next evolution, and no one's going to agree with me, and I've spoken about this before, for Doctor Who is cinema. It needs to be cinema. He needs to be brought, they need to be brought into the cinematic system. I think Doctor Who movies would be fantastic, but we have a bit of a problem. The elephant in the room, which we've been discussing for the past 15, 16 minutes, which is the timeless children. As I said, whether you're passionately against it or you're kind of, I don't mind, it's not great, but I don't mind. As I say, I haven't met anyone who approves of this. Falsifying, going back to the past, rewriting history and falsifying diversity. As I say, it was done. Ruining Doctor Who. The audience have gone. And maybe they would have come back if RTD had tried. But I'm not going to rewrite what my friend did. He told us that. All of a sudden, it's show friends, not show business. And so the second thing that has to happen, the Bad Wolf, RTD, all his friends, Tranta have to be, all of them need to be surgically removed away from Doctor Who. I love all of those people, all of them. What they've done for Doctor Who's past is amazing. But what they've done, they're sitting there rubbing their hands together trying to wind up the fans. And they're going, oh my God, look how angry we're making these right-wing Doctor Who fans. So they no longer have Doctor Who's best interests at heart. The only people they're hurting, they're not hurting the right-wing Doctor Who fans, you're hurting Doctor Who itself. A character in a show you claim you've loved since you were young people. And I believe that you guys do. But it's time for you to release your grip from Doctor Who. Now here's the elephant in the room as well. We can't continue with this iteration of Doctor Who. What do I mean? From Hartnell to Gatwell. We can't continue on that iteration because in that iteration, the Timeless Children is canon. And as long as the Timeless Children is canon, the majority of people will not come back. And it's clear we don't have a large enough new audience coming to watch Doctor Who. New audiences came in 2005 along with the original audience. How did that work? I'll tell you how. So all you parents who love Doctor Who, the classic series, sat there with your children, your nephews and your nieces. That's how a new fandom came in. It wasn't outside the Doctor Who families. It was the extended Doctor Who families, and it became something that the general audience enjoyed because of that situation. But new fans are not coming in. So people have gone because of the Timeless Children. So we have two options here. My first one, which is to pluck a Doctor out from the multiverse, another reality where the Doctor originates from Gallifrey, right? Because imagine this. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor swapped places with 14, right? So 14's from another reality. Just imagine if they did this. I thought RTD might do this. So this is why he materialises and his clothes materialise, because for some reason, he swapped places with Jodie Whittaker. So Jodie Whittaker is in his reality, right? Or the Doctor who regenerates after Jodie is in his reality and he's taken over Jodie's reality. Do you get it? So all of a sudden you would have a Doctor from a different reality who originates from Gallifrey, and the iteration that people have been following since 1963 is somewhere else, is lost, right? That is one way that I would have dealt with it, because all of a sudden you've got a Doctor from another reality who actually is from Gallifrey. We kick on. Now, a lot of people wouldn't like that, but I think it's a way of saying, right, we see the problem. If I was the showrunner of Doctor Who, I understand you don't want the Timeless Children. Chibnall did it. I think Chibnall's just happy he was able to do it. He's admitted he expects someone to red pill it. That's the way of doing it. I mean, what other ways are there? And I've spoken about this before as well. I think, look, you can expand on it. You can say it's the Master who's the Timeless Child and he corrupted the Matrix. You know, there's different things you can do if you want to keep this iteration. But the problem is you're wasting a lot of time doing something. Plucking another doctor from another reality is quick. But another quick thing is, and we have to consider this for a movie series, is totally rebooting Doctor Who and taking them to cinema. Taking Doctor Who as a brand new character to cinema. And I told you the other day what I would do. Simple. The Doctor is on the run. He's discovered a secret about Time Lord society. And so they want to shut him up, or shut them up. Whoever's playing the Doctor, right? So the Doctor goes on the run with their teenage granddaughter, Susan. And basically, the Time Lords bring out the Master who's been incarcerated for so long. So this will be a new Master because it's a reboot, and they send the Master after the Doctor. So that basically, the Master, this is why the Master and the Doctor keep on ending up on Earth and other places, because the Master, on the say-so of the Time Lords, is chasing this new rebooted Doctor. This is what I would do. And I would send this iteration to cinemas. If you've got a better idea on how to bring people back, because let's be clear, people won't come back while the Timeless Children, in this iteration, as I say, I'll explain myself again when I say this iteration, from Hartnell to Gatwa. While the Timeless Children is canon, people won't come back. And RTD is going to continue to shave against the grain in Series 2. Make no mistake about that. So it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse, and the ratings are going to go down, and they're going to cancel it. Not only will Disney not take up the option, in my opinion, for a third series, I think other studios and networks are going to say, and streamers are going to say, do you know what? You know, even Hollywood, right? Because you need a partnership with Hollywood, like they've got a partnership with Disney financially. Because BBC America no longer have the finances to run Doctor Who independently. So, and there was different monies from America in Doctor Who then. But you need a partner from America because they're the ones that got the money. And I don't think any of these people, after seeing RTD2, are going to invest in RTD2. They may invest in someone else. The person to run Doctor Who needs to be someone who understands Doctor Who, loves Doctor Who, but wants to take it somewhere fresh. And I believe my concept of a rebooted Doctor Who, where the Doctor is on the run from Gallifrey for a good reason this time, not a mysterious reason. They found out a deadly secret. The Time Lords, send the Master after them, and it's a big chase. And the way I would like to start off my rebooted Doctor Who movie is like Superman 78. The camera kind of goes close to the planet Gallifrey. We find things out about the planet. And instead of the planet imploding and exploding, the Doctor finds out a secret. Doctor goes on the run. The Master goes after them. We leave Gallifrey. But we leave Gallifrey in one piece. We don't destroy it. And I would basically make the Gallifreyan Council very much, Time Lords, very similar to the Kryptonian Council in Superman 78. So I would make this movie so huge and tell the story of Gallifrey and then move from Gallifrey, and then the Doctor can have their big adventure in this movie. My first choice would never be to delete everything that's gone by for over 60 years. I understand as you shout at your device in what I'm saying, but they broke this, everyone. The hubris, RTD and Chibnall broke this. We're not RTD so much, but he's come back and given us absolutely jack shit. He's come back angry. He's decided to wind up fans. The whole Davros thing, right? Part of me thinks, okay, if you want a new iteration of Davros without kind of the prosthetics and you want them as a normal person, that could be interesting. But he's not interested in doing something interesting. Again, we can't have someone in a wheelchair because everyone in wheelchairs should be nice. Well, they're not. I've met some right arseholes who are disabled, and I've met some really nice people who are disabled. But this is what happens when you're part of the woke society. You take people as one, and you've decided to represent them as pure and clean. That's why when you cast Ncuti as a Doctor, he can't be problematic. If you cast a woman as a Doctor, she can't have any negative traits. They can't be complicated or complex. in the woke mentality. And this is why these two diverse doctors, as I said earlier, have not been given the great material the white dudes did. And that's for Chibnall and RTD to answer, because it is a problem. It shows some kind of bigotry, but it is their left-wing mentality. I was brought up by a left-winger. I'm a moderate left-winger. That's who I am. But I'm a balanced guy. So I can criticise whatever kind of mentality from any political mentality, because I don't have any bias politically. I'm not really a big political dude. Anyway, politics has crept in entertainment, wrongly, so much. Entertainment was always political. There were always political kind of story points. But what we're seeing today has very much destroyed entertainment. Because once you start as an entertainer telling someone, "Oi mate, you are evil because you're part of the right," once you tell people that, you're losing your customers. It's dumb, it's stupid. Because politics is about opinions, not about right and wrong. But the left in entertainment have decided to say, if you're there, you're wrong, and if you're there, you're right. And that's wrong. And they've destroyed Doctor Who. There's no going back for this original iteration from 1963 to 2025 iteration. We can't continue it because people ain't watching it. We could try and rebuild it and just use the Timeless Children as the elephant in the room, but people don't want it as canon. So do you understand? It's a hugely damaged situation. So if I was tasked with bringing Doctor Who back after it gets cancelled, after rtd2 Series 2, and I believe it will be cancelled, or somebody else has to come in, I don't know. But I believe it's going to get canned. If I was put in charge of it, I would sit down around the table with good people, and I'd have to have a long think before I actually allowed them to commission the show or take it to cinema. But I do believe that either you pluck a Doctor out of the multiverse in a new reality where he doesn't originate from Gallifrey, or you reboot and you do the film idea that I've given. And the film ideas are exciting because you could literally, as I said the other day, pull different Doctors from the multiverse. You could have, as I said the other day, Jude Law as the Doctor for one movie. You could have, Hugh Laurie, Hugh Grant, Kate Winslet, anyone you wanted, just for one movie. They literally could regenerate at the end of each movie. It'd be fun. Is there an audience for Doctor Who if the fans are happy? Yes. I don't think you can have Doctor Who movies while there's an active series. You've either got to have one or the other. And if I was running things, it'd be one or the other. But I just see in people's minds that the TV series in its format is tired. And don't forget, New Who has been going for a long time. What is it, nearly 20 years now, right? Who would have thought that New Who would run for nearly 20 years? And how sad is it that it's looking as tired now as it did in the final treads of the Sylvester McCoy era? But that's not our fault, that's their fault. And let me explain to people who say, well, the Capaldi era's ratings started to go down from there. Okay, I'll explain to you why. The younger audience didn't want an older Doctor, Capaldi's age. So the younger audience left. They didn't leave because they didn't like the show, they didn't like Moffat. They left because they didn't want an older Doctor. Now, I love Capaldi, and a lot of us loved Capaldi, even some young fans loved Capaldi. But a lot of for example, the general audience was full of young women. A lot of young women started watching Doctor Who because of Eccleston, Tennant, Smith. Let's not make no bones about it. So Capaldi coming in as an older Doctor upset some of those people, and that's why the ratings went down. Capaldi's stories, to me, I enjoyed Capaldi's stories. That wasn't the issue. Yeah, some of them could be middling, but it was still great. That's why those ratings went down. Once he was recast, when he did his 3 years or whatever, right, and they cast somebody younger, they would have come back. And look, Jodie Whittaker's first episode through Intrigue got big viewers. And if it was something that people were interested in, and her Doctor had pacing and the personality and the intellect of the Doctor, then people would have stuck well with her. That's another thing with these two diverse Doctors, which is very problematic. Neither of them feel intelligent. Neither of them feel like the cleverest people in the room. said on the top of the show, one of my provisos, if I was working on Doctor Who, got to be the cleverest person in the room. That's the point. The Doctor doesn't know everything, but that's why the Doctor travels, because once they stop learning everything, then that's when they want to stop traveling. We've heard that before via rtd's dialogue, which is great dialogue. So this is why the diverse Doctors really have failed. It's because they don't feel like the Doctor. Not because they're diverse, because they're being treated with kid gloves by woke writers because they don't think they should be doing certain things. And this is the problem when your intentions are not honourable.